Hey, what if I told you that you have the power to succeed no matter where you're at right now? In this video, I'm going to reveal to you how to rewire your brain to avoid failing in business and in life. I'm Dr. Dan. I'm a neurostrategist, passionate about the brain. I'm inspired by God, and I am on a mission to help you bring some clarity to some of the confusing and conflicting ideas around success and business and growth and really reaching your dreams. So I want to help you not only think them, but build them into reality. And hey, if you're a brain geek like me, or you just like content that's going to help you with your life and your business, hit the like button, comment, leave a question, and I'll answer all of them. Rewiring your brain to avoid failure. I know it's a pretty bold statement, and I'm going to explain exactly how to do it. First off, you have to understand that the reason why most of us think we're a failure or that we think we failed at a certain thing is by comparison. So we're comparing ourselves to something else or someone else or a different outcome we thought we would get. So you first have to recognize that your brain is already wired at an outcome that you thought you should have gotten. So the reason why you think you failed is because of an outcome that was undesirable. Now, I can appreciate that, and I've been there. But let's first recognize that it was an expectation that you had. And chances are you put it on yourself. And so what's cool about this is what I'm gonna work you through is how to avoid that failure by starting with the expectation. Now, look at history. Just 100 years ago, right? And follow me on this, because just 100 years ago, the average human was spending 50% of their income on food. Now it's roughly around 15%. 100 years ago, the average human was exposed to the amount of information over an entire lifetime that we get in 10 minutes today. I'll say that again. In 10 minutes today, we get more information to us than we did over an entire lifetime 100 years ago. So I want to remind you, times have changed. The reason why a lot of us end up thinking we failed at something is because we've put a certain expectation around what we think it should have looked like, what we think we should have done, or what we think that we should have resulted in. And so I'm not here to say, hey, let's just change our expectations necessarily. I'm saying you can literally rewire your brain, because the wiring that created the expectation is the reason why you have a wiring around failure. Are you following me? This is so powerful. And so you have to realize we're in the most abundant time in history. Like, we are living through the most abundant time in history. And I'm all for having expectations, right? Having expectations to be able to push ourselves beyond the limit. Like the 4-minute mile, Roger Bannister, when he ran that in the 1950s, I believe it was. Once he did it, and the milestone, it allowed, did you know that today, high school runners do that today? You know, they said that at some point, the experts said there's no way a human could ever do that. It's dangerous and it can't be done. And then he broke it. Nobody could break it up into that. Hundreds and hundreds of people had tried, and he broke it. And within like 5 years, dozens broke it after it, because he broke that barrier. My point in saying that is you have these expectations around failure, and so they're wired into your brain. So let's just focus right now. Let me just, for this first book, know that you can change. Your brain can change. And I'll also say, right, let me ask you a question. Would you rather be, and this is all going to failure, right? Would you rather be happy and middle class, or very sad, unfulfilled, and rich and wealthy? And I know it kind of goes with the choir, and you've probably heard that before, but really think about this, because really, when we think about succeeding in life, what we're chasing is an emotion, right? If you want money, you want power, you want influence, you want to help more people, you want to be a better dad and mom, when you be better, at business, you want an emotion, how that makes you feel, how the money makes you feel, how the success makes you feel, how the impact makes you feel, how the creativity makes you feel. That's what we're searching. I'm here to tell you, you can get that emotion right now. And I've talked about this in other videos, but if I can't get you to understand that your brain is such a pliable, plastic, moldable, opportunity, then anything goes, right? I think Henry Ford said this, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So here are the 2 keys to rewiring your brain to avoid failure. Key number 1 is be, do, have. The be, do, have principle. Implement the be, do, have principle. Now, what is it? Most people live, and I did, and I fall into this trap many times as well. So I'm not saying it's always, you get it figured out all the time. The road to greater success is always under construction, as I was talking about. The road to greater success and achievements and money and wealth and impact is always under construction. Get that? Like, you're never arrived. It's never a destination. You're always on the journey, which is cool, right? You should find resolve in that. But here's where we must live, in the be, do, have principle. See, most of us have been brought up to think and to act and to be programmed around, if I have this, I can do this, and then I can be this. If I have this amount of money, I could do this thing, and then I could be this person. That's not the principle that we were created with. That's actually not the principle, the way that the brain actually is wired. Physiology is wired, physics is wired, none of it. Like, however you want to, spiritually, for me as a Christian, like, I know that's not the way God wired us. He did not create us that way. It was the opposite. If I be this, my identity is, this is who I am, then here's what I can do, and then here's what I'll have. Be, do, have. My identity first, who I am, this is what I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to have as a result of that. It's just a better way to live. So how would you be more of that, right? So there's three things I think about, is learn more, try more, environment more, right? Learn more, be a lifelong learner. Give yourself reason to believe in yourself. Give yourself reason to believe and to trust that you are professional, right? What's the difference between a professional and an amateur? An amateur will try it till they get it right. A professional will do it till they can't get it wrong. Malcolm Gladwell talked about in his book, where he talked about 10,000 hours. Have you put in the time? Give your brain a reason. So first of rewiring your brain is give it a reason why you should be like this, right? Be, do, have, why you are that, why your identity is a professional, why you are worthy, why you have achieved, right? You are capable because this is your be, you are being. Are you learning? Are you trying? So getting in an environment, right? So those three things underneath this category would be, you're going to learn more, you're going to try more, you're going to environment more. So are you learning more? Are you reading? Are you constantly updating yourself? Left to your own devices, we're going to go towards entropy. We're going to go towards disorder. We need to be orderly. What you're reading, what you're putting in your mind, what you're listening to, videos like this, knowing you're possible, it's capable, hope, right? So number one is learn. Two, underneath again this subheading, number two is you're going to try more, experience more, like fail more in a sense, and I'm going to get to that, but just put yourself out there. And then third is get in the right rooms. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you're the most wealthiest person in the rooms that you're in the wrong room. If you are the most accomplished in the rooms that you tend to frequent, you're in the wrong room. Get in environments where people are above you, doing more, accomplishing more, because then it literally immediately raises your standard, and you start to wire your brain as, I'm capable of that. You have a vision for that. You see it being done. This is so powerful. This is so powerful. So be, do, have. You're going to implement that principle. That is key strategy number one. Key strategy number two, to rewire your brain to avoid failure. This is the good one. Redefine failure. Redefine failure. What does that look like, Dan? Here's what it looks like. Most of us, as I said at the beginning, most of the reason why you think you're a failure, you have failed, or you haven't accomplished what you should have is because of a comparison. And that's fine, but how about let's just change the comparison, what you're comparing to, right? And so I learned this a long time ago, that I want to control more. So if I want to control more, I want to control whether or not I'm going to fail or not. Like if I could ask you, hey, you for the rest of your life are going to be able to control whether or not you failed or not. Would you say, yes, I want that, right? Would that sound attractive to you? Of course it would. Like, we all want that, because none of us wants to fail, none of us want to be rejected. Redefine it. How would you redefine it? Well, knowing it's based on your comparisons, what are we comparing it to? How about this? What if the only way you could fail was in any sort of situation, if you didn't try your hardest and you didn't learn, that equates to a failure. So say it again. What if your definition of failure was, I didn't try my hardest and I didn't learn? Therefore, any situation you get in, it may not have been the outcome you thought it was going to be. You maybe had the outcome that you desired necessarily. But as long as you gave it your hardest, you control that. That's not something you need to be talented. You gave it your hardest. That's not talent. It's a decision. Number two is you learn from it, regardless of what happened. I will say the number one trait that I've seen in successful people, successful parents, successful entrepreneurs, wasn't that they had it right all the time or they were perfect, is that they learned from every situation and that they always tried their hardest. They were always trying to upgrade. They were always trying to get better. And they always took what they had and what they experienced and they learned from it. So redefining it. This is the beauty. And again, this all goes back to rewiring the brain, because the brain is this, it's designed this way. It's nerves that fire together, wire together. And when they wire together over a period of time, it's not that the tissue is moldable, it's that these little synapses, like electricity, I picture them as little neurons, of electricity that eventually grow together. And as you grow more of these synapses that grow, together and build more synapses, you learn more, you become more. Do, have, and as these, you're literally rewiring the brain. And so that's what's fun about this. As you redefine failure, you cannot lose, you cannot fail. Nerves that fire together, wire together. When you think you can and you can't, you're right. Even again, at the end of this video, I think, here you are, you have an opportunity. Do you believe you can, or do you believe you can't? That's where you must start. You believe you can, guess what? You've got it, right? Be, do, have, number one, right? Change your principles from once I have enough money and I have this power and I have this following, I have this amount of people doing this, right? No, it's be, do, have. I will be this, then I will do this, and then I will have that. And then strategy number two is redefine it. If you didn't give your hardest and you didn't learn from it, then you can fail. Those are just decisions. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you rewire your brain to never fail again. And you can apply this to all aspects of life. This is why I love it. Hey, if you like this content as much as I love making it, I would love if you would subscribe, like, comment, hit me up with any questions you have. Tell me what your favorite things to do to rewire the brain to make sure you avoid failure. With that, I'll see you in the next one.